Hello, children. Welcome to LITLENS. Today we are discussing a short story named A Letter to God, written by Mexican writer Gregorio Lopez Fuentes. The major ideas conveyed in the story are faith, irony, and humanity. Gregorio Lopez Fuentes was a Mexican writer. He was a novelist, journalist, and a poet. He was known for depicting rural peasant life in Mexico. His notable works include El Indio, which has won the National Literary Prize. His styles included social realism with deep empathy for the poor. Before moving to the lesson, I just want to ask you something. Have you ever waited for something in your life and believed it would happen? Say, you believed your exam would go well. Maybe I've planted a sapling, believing it would grow as a tree one day. A quiet belief in your heart. Right, even when you can't see it. It is called faith. You know, faith isn't always religion, it is much bigger than that. We trust our parents. We believe we can achieve our goals. We believe our hard work will give us good results one day. These small beliefs in our hearts. This is nothing but faith. Today, we see a very hardworking farmer, the protagonist of our story, Lenjo, and we see what happened in his life. Let us begin the lesson. A Letter to God is a short story about unwavering faith, human kindness, and the irony that strikes at the heart of blind belief. It is set in a small farm in rural Mexico, and Lencho, as a hardworking peasant, tends his fields hoping for a good harvest to feed his family. And there arises the crisis. A devastating hailstorm destroys his entire crop, leaving the family with nothing to survive the year ahead. But the unwavering faith in him. He writes a letter directly to God asking for 100 pesos, utterly convinced that God will help him. We'll go to the detailed summary. As I told you, the farmer Lenjo, he was expecting a hopeful harvest. His cornfields are ripe and ready, and he prays for a shower of rain to ensure a good harvest. But there happens a crisis. A fierce hailstorm descends without warning. Within minutes, the crops are completely destroyed. The family is left in despair. But I told you the unwavering faith, the unshakable faith in Lencho, despite the total loss, Lencho's faith in God. He believed God see all his suffering and will help those who ask sincerely. And so, our farmer, our Lencho, decides to write a letter to God, directly addressing him to God, asking for 100 pesos to replant his fields and survive until the next harvest. You know, Lenjo writes a letter, he seals it, and he reaches the post office. He wants to send it to God. The postmaster finds the letter addressed to God. Out of his amusement, he sees that letter, and when he identifies what is inside that letter, moved by Lenjo's deep faith, he decides to help Lenjo rather than to discard it. You know what the postmaster did? He collected donations from his colleagues and contributes himself, managing to gather 70 pesos. See how kind this man is. He collected 70 pesos. But what was the amount Lencho asked in the letter? 100 pesos. Lencho receives the reply. Lencho collects the envelope with the money. He is happy at first because he got the letter. But upon counting, he finds that only 70 pesos are there in the letter instead of the 100. He asked God. Lencho, convinced God would never make a mistake, writes a second letter asking God to send the remaining 30 pesos. See, his faith to God, when he got something, he was not happy because he asked for 100 pesos. Who gave the money? The postmaster and the people in the post office, right? But this time, here lies the irony. This time when Lenjo writes the letter, he makes sure that God would never make a mistake. And he writes a second letter asking God to send the remaining 30 pesos, but not through the post office, since he believes that the postal workers stole it. See the irony? It was the people in the post office who sent the money, but Lenjo believed it was God who sent the money, and now he writes a letter. Please don't send to it through the post office because people in the post office are really crooked. They may take his money. See, it's a very small story, right? And what all things we understood from the story about faith, about the unshakable belief, how innocent this man Lenjo is, his poverty and hardship, and human kindness. Lenjo's absolute trust in God is his story's driving force, right? His faith is so complete that he never questions whether God will respond. And innocent. He is very innocent. Lencho is very innocent and he is bit he shows cynicism. What is cynicism? You know what is cynicism? Cynicism means an attitude of deep distrust in human sincerity. Lenjo is innocent. At the same time, he distrusts the people in the post office, right? Yes or no? He has that distrust in the motives of the people in the post office, just like pessimist. Understood? Then we see the poverty, the harsh reality. If he doesn't get money, he won't be able to feed his family, right? And kindness. The postmaster could have neglected that letter, but the kindness in him, in his colleagues, that generosity, giving anonymously the 70 pesos without any expectations of gratitude, right? And what is irony? The very people who helped Lenjo out of kindness are accused by him of being thieves. This is the twist in the story. Clear? These are the themes mentioned in the story. Now, Lenjo is a hardworking farmer, deeply devout, innocent and naive. Naive means ignorant. He is ungrateful, ironically, right? Why? Because even though he got that 70 pesos, he was not satisfied with that. Right. Resilient in adversity, he was simple at literate. Literate means he knew how to write and read. Faith, naivety, irony, these all are the about the characters of Lencho. Now see the post office workers. They are good humored, compassionate, generous, anonymous helpers, worldly, they are realistic, they are selfless and kind. Here we have to see about the postmaster. The postmaster, even though he laughs at the letter initially, but he was moved. He was kind enough to give money and ask his colleagues to share, donate something for Lencho. His selfless generosity. And the painful irony is that these kind humans are branded as a bunch of crooks by Lencho. The author uses this question to question the consequences of blind, unquestioning faith. Clear? This is a very small story about Lencho, a hardworking farmer, how he faced that crisis in his life, and what happened at the end of the story. Clear? I hope this is clear. Now, these are some questions where you can go through the questions and find answers by yourself. Thank you.